All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this game. This is such an exciting replay that I'm about to show you guys. We have up here in the top right, TY. He's facing off against Innovation. And this particular map I have cherry-picked out of the Last Chance ESL Pro Tour tournament because it is a perfect display of how to fight against mech with bio. And I'm telling you guys, watching this game, casting it, I could not actually believe what the hell was being pulled off. It was an absolutely wild set of circumstances that TY is going to find himself in. And he somehow drags his way back into it from behind, and the game gets really messy from there. I'm not going to give too much away. I will cast this game, but I'm going to, of course, be focusing a lot on the analysis of the specific tactics that TY uses against mech. For anyone out there who's struggling with bio versus mech, there's a video down in the description below. Links to a really textbook example of just kind of swapping into air control and using that with your bio. A good number of Vikings to control the skies, and then Liberators to beat mech. And there's an awesome example of Kellerzur doing that against Hero Marine. However, what that doesn't cover is how, if you've got the right maneuvers and tactics, there's a lot of little details that allow you to actually potentially defeat mech with a very standard biotank medevac setup. But it's all about positioning. There's lots of little maneuvers. I mean, everyone's seen someone drop some Marines on top of a siege tank or something like that. But not many players are really clear on the exact maneuvering details, how you shift your play as a bio player against mech, and how if you feel you're in too desperate a scenario where you can't really go up to that air control, this is a better option, because just going raw standard bio tank, if you get the right engagements against a mech player, you can absolutely make it work. Well, anyways, Innovation doing a proxy 2x Reaper runs into the Marine in the SCV on the high ground, takes a bit of a bruising. Of course, the Reaper will take some combat drugs and heal up. The other Reapers are popping out 2 at a time. So Inno here with a very aggressive approach so far. TY's got 2 Marines out, but nothing up on that side. Was going to build a depot to try and wall off that jumping point. Didn't quite get it. Those Marines very healthy so far, but it's only a matter of time until they're outnumbered here. That factory is far away, and TY skipping the bunker entirely. Good pullback on his red hit point Marine so far, but oh, those Reapers are, of course, going to come back at full life, and the Marine life will not regenerate. I don't think that Hellion's going to be here in time. If I was TY, I would pull 3 or 4 SCVs over here to help out, but for now, he's just focusing on building Marines one at a time. He's got a Hellion on the way as well. And these Reapers of Innovation going to try and push on forwards. Oh, some nice grenades. They hit that full health Marine backwards. The red hit point Marine going to go down, as is the other one. And oh my, okay, the Hellion not even able to target that Reaper down. It's now 5 SCVs and a Hellion. TY trying to hang on for dear life. Behind this, Innovation has a factory up in the bottom left. It's building lots and lots of Reapers. So he's keeping a nice contain on. Neither player has an expansion. TY is up 1 worker, and he's going to go straight for a tech lab on that starport. Meanwhile, of course, far behind on the tech is Innovation. The factory only now finishing, but he should be able to build that expansion on location. He's going to go straight starport and tech lab to start things off. And just going to wait for that 400 minerals. So he's now stopped Reaper production. I believe this is the last Reaper. So 6 Reapers. Going to be hard, of course, for TY to break out against that. And, oh, the Hellion's running down. Got to be careful, though, especially now that barracks provides high ground vision. It's going to come in. It sees the command center starting. Inno's got to feel good about that since his is already on the way. And, ooh, the Reapers do try to dive up. But they don't want to be throwing their lives away, or there won't be much to defend a counterattack. Cyclone on the way behind this. And that starport now finishing on up as well. Would expect to see, yeah, Tech Lab does go down. Now, Barracks comes in, sees Cloak start. I don't think TY is planning to let that Cloak finish. Oh, Reaper's going to look for a kill on the depot, but the Hellions do have 1 extra range. 6... Oh, no, they don't actually. Sorry, 5 versus 5, but hard for those Reapers, of course, to take that depot down. They're going to fall back for now. The Banshee is out. The Widow Mine, is that going to move down to the low ground? It looks like it will. And a Raven does start up for Innovation. So the Ravens end up being about the same time, but TY will have this Banshee to poke out with, get a little bit of map control back for himself. Nice quick 3rd gas for Innovation on the low ground, and TY says, okay, time to recover. Let's get a 3rd command center, and let's just do it that way. Tank production starting for TY. Meanwhile, Innovation, on the other hand, going for extra Cyclones. So he's going to get a little bit more map control with that as he goes up to the 3rd command center. No sign of mag field yet or anything like that. Some people like to get like 3 mag field cyclones. Is a really good way of controlling their opponent's movement on the map. If they move out, you just lock onto the Raven, lock onto the tanks, and pick them off before they get to your side of the map. You can see here Mule's dropping, and just timed that out so the command center lands. And what do we got? Ooh, okay. So TY playing a little bit light on tech units here, guys. Just 1 tank. Not building a second one, going straight to 3 barracks. So TY is rushing towards Stim and double medevac production. He's probably going to swap that barracks onto this reactor, swap the starport off, build 2 medevacs, and he's going to have a lot of Marines with Stim medevacs. So it's a true Marine-focused bio style for TY. Much more about map control than anything else. 1 Raven, 1 tank. So no Viking production for a while, no extra tank production, or not consistent extra tank production, I should say, as there's been a few gaps in that. Meanwhile, Inno on the other side, he's only just now got his first tank out. Remember, he did go for that Cyclone production earlier. And he's got extra factories on the way. The starport is going to build a reactor as well. Very important as the mech player to take control of the skies, stop your opponent from dropping you, and to be able to take things on. Of course, at this point, TY does not know that he's up against mech. He has no idea about that. He's been kind of pinned back in his corner. And this is a map with a lot of choke points on it. It's got a few wide open areas, like out here and here and here. But definitely, once you get in towards the bases, there's like lots of nice little terrain blockers and things that obstruct movement. Oh, Inno scanned there. Inno just scanned. He saw that it's a very quick 3 barracks play. Is he going to push? Okay, I think he's going to push. He realizes, okay, you know what? I've got multiple Ravens and tanks. I've got all these Reapers and Cyclones to buffer. I don't think you can contest me in this one. Ooh, okay. 3 Hellions go down. They kill 2 Reapers, but I still think that's a good trade for Innovation. TY here trying to move out front. He wants to secure that 3rd base. Uh-oh. Inno's got to be careful. That sight blocker, man. TY there with a big vision advantage. And Inno just hanging out for now, and he's going to just rotate those Ravens in the main. He's going to look for big economic damage. He's threatening the front, but he's just going to go for the auto turrets in the main. Double armor is on the way behind this. Will be behind the upgrades of TY, but of course, if you have equally upgraded mech versus bio, it does pretty well for you as the mech player. And, oh man, TY is so focused on getting his 3rd up. And auto turrets just going down. Oh, he's not throwing any more down. He's being really patient. He's like, okay, well, if you run your SCVs away, I've already done the damage. I don't need to go ham on that. Raven! TY's Raven! TY's Raven! Oh no, he didn't micro it. He just F2'd his whole army over here, and his Raven goes down. Raven, 2 SCVs, and a bunch of mining time in that main base. And of course, Inno's Ravens get out of there completely scot-free. That's a very good trade for Innovation. He's now going for Blue Flame 1-1 upgrades. He's up on 2 tech labs and 1 reacted factory, as well as the reacted starport that is now starting to pump out those Vikings. He's going to start building sensor towers. Where is that sensor tower? Oh, he's going to build it up in the main to see if he's getting dropped at all. TY is going to try to get in there with the Banshees. Oh, a little Marine move forward, as well as some tanks here at the 3rd base. That sensor tower is a little exposed, but nothing else really. Banshee coming around the back of the main. There's no defense there. Just, oh, you got to go around that turret first. And TY is going to go straight for that mineral line, but the Cyclones are there. Well done. Innovation shutting everything down right now. He's up about 10 workers off the back of that Reaper rush in the early game, that contain that he had going. Combat shield has been made, so there's a good pack of Marines, medevacs, tanks. There's a lot more at home right now. This is a really small force that TY is pushing with. He needs to push with his whole army. If he's going to fight aggressively, he's going to need to really respect this. Ooh, he gets the sensor tower. Does damage the Raven a little bit. Innovation's tank does start to push him back. So at this point, TY realizes, okay, I'm up against mech. I kind of know what's happening. He's got concussive. You'll notice that he's swapped one of his barracks off the reactor and over here and built a tech lab so he can build more Marauders. Marauders much stronger against the Hellions, and they do big bonus damage against tanks, Thors, Cyclones, all of the armored units. He's going to build a 4th base on location. I mean, this is a textbook versus mech reaction. Just basically expand a bit quicker than normal, swap to a little bit heavier Marauder production. He's now building his 4th and 5th barracks. But this is not that I'm going to swap to control of the skies. He's not at a point where he has a big enough economy to do that. He does feel he's a little behind. Innovation has had a completely uncontested 3rd base so far. So TY, he's trying to just kind of catch on up economically. He's still building just bio. Stop tank production for the moment. That's something he's been doing a lot in this game. He's going to build 3 more barracks. So he's going to go for the mass bio response here to take out the mech. That's all going to rely on a few factors. Number 1, don't attack through a choke point into siege tanks. Number 2, let's try to always flank, come from multiple sides. You know, if you come from multiple sides, siege tank splash damage is just not that powerful. Its range is not that powerful as well. If you're coming from multiple angles and kind of closing in, whereas if you're all coming from one angle, your units get stuck behind each other, and the range as well as the splash damage of the siege tanks really come into effect. Good micro by Inno to not lose that. The Hellions looking for damage, and they definitely could find it. There is one siege tank here. A lot of players do like to leave a single siege tank covering each base from Hellion Harass, but Innovation's ready to go. He's got 1-1 on the way. He starts up 2-2, but he is already pushing across the map. 12 tanks, 2 Ravens, 2 Cyclones, 6 Vikings, 12 Hellbats, 3 Hellions, and 4 Medevacs as well to help heal up those Hellbats. It's going to give his army a lot of sustain. He's even going to load up 4 Medevacs with a lot of those siege tanks so that he can move his army around in a very mobile fashion. Allows him to just boost those Medevacs forward, unload the tanks, and siege them up on location. TY needs to max out right now. He's supply blocked. Oh my god, TY desperately needs to be building things. I think he just did a supply drop. He's trying to get out more Marine Marauder. If he gets 2-2 Marine Marauder, he does have a chance if he can take this army down, but right now it's looking very hard to fight. Even without the tanks landed, the Blue Flame Hellbats will do okay against Marines. A little slow to siege there. Oh, he's actually going to siege the tanks on top of the bio in the top left. He realizes that's only part of the army. Innovation with a wild push forward with those tanks. 2 tank sieges on the back. These tanks do gain position, and Innovation dropping tanks on top of Marines. It's meant to be the other way around, buddy. It's meant to be the other way around. All right, so these Hellbats looking pretty good right now. And, okay. TY realizing, okay, I'm going to lose my 4th 100%. He says, let's leave tanks there and let's go for a bit of a counterattack. Let's see if I can catch your reinforcements or something like that. But Innovation, aware of it, simply pulls back. And Inno's up on 4 base. He is rock solid right now. He's got turrets and tanks sieged all over the shop. A giant flank, though. TY comes in with a huge arc, and Innovation is not sieged up. Wow. TY there scanned. He saw most of the army was unsieged. Even though these 2 tanks in the back do good, Innovation was in such a lovely position, but TY was like, look, I need to kill this army right now. I just lost a base. I'm down on economy. I need to clear his army. Came in, spread from 2 gigantic arcs to minimize the splash damage, to make sure his units didn't get stuck behind each other. They could all close that distance, get in range, and start dealing damage very quickly. Now TY is going to put on some counter pressure, but he's going to have to pull out of this position because he does not have air control. So he can use scans to make sure his tanks kind of maintain some vision, but that is very expensive. And he's going to slowly try and recover with his 4th base. So he's trying to threaten with his siege tanks. He's actually getting them in range of the planetary. A bit of a mistake for Innovation to not have taken advantage to move some tanks around there. Try to move these tanks forward, but now being forced to do a bit of mass repair. TY here, he knows he can't fight into this at all. Oh, a Hellbat drop getting ready to go on top of those siege tanks. You know, you got to mass repair if you want to keep that alive. And I don't know if that was a conscious decision to give that up or not, but Innovation letting himself get out positioned here. So a bit of a mistake from Inno, but nice use of TY where he's like, okay, look, my tanks, if they're the first ones to be sieged, are still good. Unfortunately, though, like I said, he needs scans here. He doesn't realize, and he does end up losing one of his tanks being pushed back. Look at his production tab, +3 weapons. Armor, nowhere near as important. When your opponent's doing 80 damage with a siege tank shot, it really just makes no difference getting an extra armor or not. It helps a little against the Hellions and Hellbats, against SCVs, against Vikings, but it's not the most important thing in the world. Vikings, of course, controlling this guy's Liberators take advantage of that moving forward. Oh, Inno wants to hunt this army down. TY is splitting army down the right side, but look at this. He's going to lose all of these siege tanks, and this is the problem with trying to siege up forward on their side of the map when they've got air control. TY trying to use this as a distraction to come down the right side of the map. So TY, he's bleeding out. He's in a really tough position right now. That bio is going to get caught on the way home as well. Oh, this is so bad for TY, dude. Okay, so he's going to try and stim it on the right. Those tanks are not sieged just yet. Innovation, a little slow to siege up here, and that's going to cost him. All of those tanks go down. And you know what? There's enough Marauders. Inno needs to be sieging these tanks. He's trying to just attack move in to deal with this. On the other side of the map, he crushes through TY's small bio force as well, and it looks like, okay, he might just barely have enough to defend here, and he does indeed. He's got the better upgrades. TY getting just crushed. I mean, there's now a push between his rallies. Innovation a little slow to float his 4th command center down, and he doesn't siege every single tank at once. Oh, TY, the way he scans, runs in, kills the tank, pulls back. He's really making it hard for Innovation to press forward. Innovation wants to get up into another base. He wants to get in range of one of these, and oh, if he splits Hellions into any of these bases, it's going to be huge. He splits 2, Hellbat drops off to the right. Quick pull here by TY, but dude, he's in so much trouble. Those SCVs are being forced to run. He has a command center on the right, so shout out to TY for actually lifting his 5th base off and getting that going. But he's losing workers right now. He's going to try and pull these Marauders back to defend his Hellions, defend the SCVs, of course. But look at that, more Hellbats up in the left. I mean, this is just an amazing position for Innovation. He got ahead early with the Reaper Rush. His first push killed a base and got a massive advantage just before TY was ready to fight it. And now TY's SCVs are just running around the map. Innovation is up between his rally points. And as long as Innovation keeps reinforcing this, I told you guys that TY does some amazing things to get back in this game, but I honestly can't remember how. What the hell? He's so dead. He's so dead, man. Yeah, I mean, he's done a few good flanking engagements and things. Okay, these Hellbats do get kited away by the Marauders out of tank range. That command center will go down. So TY is in big trouble, man. He's loading up medevacs in the main. Oh, but the scan saw this. So Innovation's Vikings are hunting those medevacs right now, but a little bit too greedy. He sees the medevacs have gone back there. The Vikings come down here. Oh, if he lands a Viking on that base, that would be effective. No, you don't want to land them all, though. No, no, no. Inno lands all of his Vikings. A big mistake, and he does end up losing most of them to those Hellbats. Oh, a big Doom Drop comes in on top of the tanks. Is that enough, though? Oh my god, he flies right over the army. Innovation short on anti-air right now. He needs a few Thors or Cyclones, or his Vikings actually are what he really needs to be with his army. But TY here has realized, wait a second, you're trying to catch my drop. I am going to do anything I can. And now, look at this. While his army's luring him away, he comes in here and starts dropping Marine Bobs on top of these siege tanks. He's using the friendly fire of the siege tanks to take out Innovation's own tanks. This army, realizing that it's being pursued, just unloads, pulls back. And now he's still got to break out of here. He's got a base on the right. He's floated that base from there over to there. So he's moving these expansions away. So he's saying, look, I can't beat you front on, so let me use my mobility. He's coming around from the edges once again. And look at that. He grabs a tank and pulls back. Doesn't take any tank fire. Really patient, calm play. He picks up more units to join up with this Bioforce. He's just intercepting the rally point. He says, look, let's make this an island. Let's make sure this is not something that's got a river of units overflowing to it. He's got more bio. He's got more bio coming from behind right now. He spreads units out. Those units come in from behind. Innovation splits his army, thinking half of it could deal with this, and he loses all of his siege tanks. TY there, engineering a perfect little maneuver. Unfortunately for him, though, there's Liberators sieged on his expansions. He's got nothing over there to defend. One Marine will defend the base on the right. He comes in over here, tries to drop on top of these siege tanks. He's focusing them down. He does get one or two, but ends up losing that force as well. Okay, so this is such a crazy hard situation for TY because he's always outnumbered in the army. He's always outnumbered. He's just going to keep trying to say, okay, if I can pull you away, then you're distracted. And look at that, using Marines to blow up these siege tanks with friendly fire. He now busts this push before the rest of the army can get there. Inno coming forward, but he doesn't have that much support now. His units have been spread across the entire map, and it's in that moment, TY threatening many places. He then rejoins his forces and fights in one area. Guess what? There's tanks there. The units were, of course, split in two. The Liberators are off harassing. These units weren't all together helping. So TY engineering a near-perfect engagement there multiple times. Remember, he lured that first army down here and then dropped it and came from both sides and sandwiched it. He then dropped that army and busted down on it. He then killed the reinforcing army as well. TY has next to no workers, and Innovation has an absolute ton. But we're seeing here, the idea is, whenever you can't fight your opponent, run around, threaten elsewhere, lure them out of position, and then quickly reposition, reconsolidate your units, and just surround and crush an army. Now, obviously, this is done at a frightening pace. So if anyone watching this wants to apply this at home, it's going to be a little bit different to what we see in this game, in that it won't be as fast-paced, but it'll often be like, okay, he's pushing through the middle, I'll go around, kill his third, and then come back and kill his army while his rally's at home. Set up a two-sided engagement. It's, oh, I'll have my two squads of bio out on the map and try to always use them to come from two different angles. It's so bloody hard to engineer, and against someone as good as Innovation, it seems nearly impossible. for TY to get back in this game. I mean, the supply tells a story all of its own. 29 SCV Terran up against an 82 worker innovation. At this point, TY is just going to look for those perfect engagements. And like we said, whenever you catch a few tanks out on their own, you're able to drop Marine Marauder right on top of them. When they're not supported, it's huge. The only other way you come back in a game like this is, of course, mech is always very immobile. So if you can try to drop, get in their mineral lines, get on top of their production would be a game winner. Or a potential game winner when you're this low on supply. Maybe not. Hellion comes and gets 5 SCVs. That's rough. He can't really afford this. He's rebuilding his workers, though, is TY. He realized that he's kind of done enough to at least keep innovation busy. And let's look at this setup from TY. Look at this. Army on the left on number 1, army on the right on number 2. So he's pre-set up, saying, look, I know he's probably going to push down one side, and that army will have to just fall back, but the other army will be ready to dive. And he sees the armies on the right, and he sends a double drop in towards the main base. He's going to dive straight in towards the main. Oh, there's a lot of turrets, but he knows where they are. He saw those earlier in this game, so he does find that soft spot. And, oh, there are 4 Hellbats there, which is, of course, quite scary. TY there. He was threatening in the middle of the map at the same time, but this drop now, nice stim spread. So this army in the middle, he forced those tanks to siege. He's now rotating around the left, keeping him busy. This bio, can he pick off a few more tanks? It looks like he can. The Hellbats will come out and clean this one up, though. So he gets a good little trade individually, and it buys him more time, but he's still only at 42 workers. He loads up a triple drop, and he's going to go for that exact same maneuver again. Innovation is pushing down the right side of the map. TY is just going to try and boost in on top of the production. There's Vikings, tanks, Hellbats, Thors, though. I don't know if this is going to be enough for TY. This is going to be really hard. He pulls away from the siege tanks. Notice he's pulling away from those tanks. He's, okay, you siege up, you cover that area, but you're not covering the left side of your production, and he's actually doing great with it. Innovation pausing with his attack, realizing that his production is in strife right now. Those Marauders do go down the bottom, and he's actually going to be able to clean this up. He gets the tanks. Can he get rid of the Marines? Oh my god, he runs the rest of the units in as well. He's going to stop the +3 armor. And TY running his whole army in the left side of the map. Innovation will be able to take out one base, but no, it's an orbital. So TY using mobility. Notice he's not making planetaries anymore because he knows he can't hold a location. He realizes the best way to do this, rather than holding a location and standing and fighting, is to just lift orbitals, run SCVs, and keep re-expanding along the fringes of the map. It's hard for a mech player to attack on both extremes of the map at the same time. So TY here, I mean, he's doing an absolute just stomp on Inno's base. Now, Inno's going to push forward there, but look at this. The bio stim's down. He's got Liberators here. There's no anti-air for this, and he's actually going to clean up that army. He crushes that one. He's in the main. He's killing so many of Inno's units as Inno trickles in to deal with this. Finally, Innovation reclaims control of his main with 1 starport and 1 factory with no add-on remaining. He's trying to rebuild 5 factories out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across. But look at this. There's just nothing that shoots up right now. What's he got, like a Viking or 2? Liberators are trying to siege on these bases. A Viking does come forward for TY. Sees that there's quite a lot of those. And TY, he's going to stim his Marines. If he can get rid of those Vikings, and he can, that's going to be huge. He pulls back. Oh, no, he does leave his Marines there a little bit too long. But look at this. The Liberators, there's nothing to shoot him right now. 2 more Vikings do pop out. TY is digging deep right now. He's rebuilding SCVs behind this. But look at that. He pushes him back through the Lib zone with the Marines, and the Liberator just kills a whole bunch of siege tanks. This is honestly, okay, I'm remembering why I wanted to cast this game again so much, because I cast this live on the tournament. It was like 4 a.m. my time, and it was a really, really fun game, and I remember being shocked, but I was like, maybe I was just excited at the time. No, this is deserving of it. TY is just a god, man. Look how close the supply is. And he actually got 2 of the factories up there. So there's only 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 3 more factories built in the main. Most don't have add-ons though. And once again, TY says, you're not mobile, I am. And he keeps attacking these flanks. He says, look, if I force you to defend that middle, I'll attack down the bottom right and take care of you there. He's only got 1, 2. He's floating his natural down to there. 3 orbital commands, and not that many workers. 1 orbital. Only 1 orbital left though for Innovation. He's building another one right now because he's got no scans. Now, he's still way up on supply. He's way up on army supply. TY, interestingly, is building Vikings, so he's trying to do a budget air swap to take control of the skies, because the Liberator was so good for him in that last situation. I think when you're in such a broke position, it should almost all be just pure buy. I don't think you should bother with the Vikings, because they just don't have the same mobility, and they're so expensive. So it's kind of hard to make it work. Oh, innovation with Hellion run bys. Oh, there's a few Marines there. Oh, TY, you gotta react. Oh no, he's a little slow to react. He's gonna every SCV that goes down is so deadly for him, man. 9 and innovation's Hellion will continue onwards there, being as annoying as it possibly can. These are +3 Blue Flame Hellions. Look at that, a Hellbat drop down the left as well. Inno realizing, okay, I've still got this decent worker count. He's got way too many workers on that base, but I guess he just needs to move those to the bottom right. And how do you do this as TY? I mean, it's just keep doing the same thing, right? Keep doing this. He's got a squad of units on the right to defend Hellion run bys. He's got his main army on the left. It's almost pure Marine medevac at this point, which is a problem. Does need to up that Marauder production again. Innovation just has so many units though, and once again, TY here, he's just going to look to threaten where his opponent isn't. And if he can get in the guts, well, Innovation's not there right now. Innovation has been spread so thin, he knows he can't really cover everything properly. TY is going to run forward and break those rocks. He's going to look to crack into the production. He can get rid of those Tech Lab factories. There's 1 Tech Lab factory in the main, and there's 2 here. That's where all of Innovation's tank production is. Blue Flame Hellion run by does come in on the other side. Picks up, pulls back to the top left. That's a bummer. That's going to potentially deny that command center. But TY already saves the SCV's life ahead of time. He's got some Marines heading up. A big army going down the right. TY, he knows he can't fight this, so he's already preparing. He should run the SCVs. He's got to get those SCVs out of there. Yeah, so he picks up the command center, runs the SCVs. His Vikings take care of the drop in the top left, and he stims forward. He dives right up the guts of Innovation and just gets in on top of his production. He says, okay, yeah, you forced a command center lift. That's not the end of the world. He's got to run the rest of his SCVs, though. That'd be a huge mistake. Oh, he didn't run them far enough. TY, run! No! Oh, he loses about 15, 16 SCVs there. Takes a few tank shots on the other side of the map as well. Oh, if he finds this base in the bottom right, that would be huge. I don't think he knows about it. Oh, he's looking to come in. So notice he comes back here. He wants to catch Innovation walking home unsieged in a big giant arc of bio. Oh, he's got the Viking control. That's actually huge, guys. That's going to give him the information advantage. And look at this. Innovation, desperate to reinforce his army, comes a little bit too far forward. TY once again going to clear another army. Now, Inno wants to get his Vikings over there because he's lost air control. So he's desperately trying to get his Vikings over, but the Marines are zoning him out. Liberator Siege on top of the tanks. TY actually made the budget air swap work. I cannot believe it. Oh my god. How are you beating an army twice your size? Look at this. The Marines are gunning down the Vikings, dude. Innovation desperately trying to get his Vikings there, but he loses almost every single tank before that happens. 1 tank and a handful of Hellbats survive. This is just amazing play from TY, who unfortunately is now out of gas, but his Marauders Marines just going to stim forward. He says, I can take tank shots from a single tank. Those Marauders on the right, take the siege tank out. He guns that down. And TY, dude, his units lost. He's about 10,000 units more efficient. And remember, he's lost 131 SCVs this game. So army to army, the trades have been so disgustingly favored for TY that it's actually crazy. Like, he has actually just constantly caught tanks on siege, always using all of the kind of fundamental ways of dealing with a mech player effectively. Uh-oh, this is a problem. This is a big problem. Oh, he gets those Marines down. 4 SCVs, 6 SCVs, make that 8. 9 even, holy shit. That's a lot of damage. Liberator comes in for TY though. That's a very nice Liberator. Does get a few SCVs. A quick pull from Innovation though. He's going to lose that siege tank before those Vikings get over there. TY was out of gas for a little bit there, so he's going to have to make sure he starts re-mining that gas, which he's doing up here. 2 workers on those gases, 2 workers on that, 2 on that. Not even bothering with the 30. He's so low on SCVs that having a 3rd worker mining less optimally is not something he wants to bother doing. So once again, look at the setup. Look at these control groups. Number 1 over here, he's got, for some reason, the medevac's on a separate key, and then he's got his army on the left as well. So number 1, number 3, he's always got these 2 different squads. Unfortunately, this one not in position, and that's a lot of Hellions. His spotting Marauder does see it. He knows he's mostly on Marines here, so he's got to be really careful. Marines have great damage, though. Even though they're vulnerable to Hellions, they do have great damage. And Innovation, what's his army? 9 tanks, 9 Vikings, 5 Hellbats, and 6 Hellions up against 13 Marauders, 29 Marines, and 5 medevacs. Now it's those 9 Vikings that really give Innovation a lot of play here. The medevacs will not be able to unload on his army. There won't be any more of those Viking lib shenanigans. Innovation has just had so much more money to work with. So as long as he doesn't get flanked at all, and look at the way, oh, he's pushing through a choke point. Yeah, this is a great area for Mech. If he can just siege his tanks through this area, through the tall grass, that's going to be very effective. Innovation has been very slow to siege up in some of these scenarios, but oh no, his SCVs are trapped. So TY, this is suddenly a game-ending moment because he didn't see the push coming. Up till now, he's had such good map vision. He's been so good with his movement. He's always seen a push coming, landed the command center and floated away, and most importantly, got the SCVs out of there. The problem is he can't get the SCVs out this time. They're just having a date with this Hellbat, and that Hellbat is absolutely savage, man. Now the Marine Marauder runs down. He says, look, if you're up in the top left, you can't possibly defend the other extreme of the map. He dives forward. I think he might have even unloaded those first couple of units. So he's going to do counter damage. The problem is, of course, simply that TY does not really have any way to protect his production anymore, and Innovation does. So Innovation will trade this base away. A few of the SCVs actually made it out of that date with the Hellbat. Big surprise there, to be honest. But where's the mining? He's got a few mineral patches on the left. That base is going to burn down. Oh, TY here at this point after this. Honestly, he looked like he was pretty dead after that first push from Innovation. At the point when he was like 80 supply versus 150, he definitely should have been dead. It looks like now finally just the raw, overwhelming numbers, the sheer power of Innovation is going to be a little bit too much. But dude, TY did so much this game, this series, to try to come back. He realizes he's got to defend this base. He's going to stand his ground now, realizing he's out of options. I guess he really should be running around and trying to just bypass and go for the production. He's going to do that now, but unfortunately sacrificed his medevacs and a lot of his units. And Innovation going to be quick to chase him back there. TY, what a valiant effort. And I'm gonna rewind one or two of the key moments and look at some of those fights, because this was honestly some of the sickest just budget Terran versus Mech. Like, this was insane. He finally taps it out. GG. Okay, so let me just show you guys a few of these fights really quickly, because what the hell, man. Okay, so this was the first big one that got him back in the game. So notice the way that TY sets this up. He's like, okay, you're there. You're killing that base. So I've got to give this up. So what does TY do? Well, TY, he moves south with his army, leaving a few tanks to stop Innovation from advancing. Says, I'm going to hit your production. Now he comes forward and he goes, tanks and turrets in a choke point. Fuck that noise. So he veers to the left. So he's scanning. He checks what the army does. He's like, oh yeah, checks what this is. He veers left to intercept the reinforcements and then also to potentially come in and hit this base. But he sees Innovation coming back with his scans, and his Vikings see a tank there. So TY pulls back here and says, okay, your army's somewhere in the middle. Let's try and potentially set up for a big engage on that. Maybe we can catch you trying to get home. And he goes, you know what? Those tanks plus my rally are already naturally spread up there. These units are naturally spread down here. They're both pretty big ramps. And I scan, and I see most of your tanks are on siege, and he just stim a move. It's such a simple thing, but because his units were already spread out, and this was before he had different control groups, he just happened to have them all spread out there because of the way he was moving half his army around to threaten and force Innovation to reposition. And when Innovation repositioned, he pounced on it, and he comes in with this lovely arc. Like, look at that engagement. Those tanks just sieging so late. Now, these two tanks on the bottom really did a very good job. They killed quite a few units, but it was off the back of everything else just not being that great. Now, TY tries to pressure here with his own siege tanks, but this is a really kind of a move which he overstays as well. So the fact that he got this command center, I mean, that shouldn't really have happened. It's good for him to look for it, but Innovation should have moved one or two tanks around to the left. But this tank that sieged up here actually kind of scared Innovation, and Innovation loses his planetary. But TY needed to get the hell out of here. And the thing is, it's hard for Mech to chase you down. So I do think if TY just unsieged his tanks and just ran at this point and started running his bio around the right, check it out, there's nothing over there. You know, if he was a little bit quicker to start engaging in that multi-prong, it would have been good, because anytime you're both just sieged across from each other, the Mech player is going to have the advantage. And he adds the Liberators to the Viking control. That advantage becomes monstrous at this point. So let's just mute the audio there, and let's just take a look at the next time. So this got really bad, because TY, he gets held there barely. His units here get held, And this was a series of really bad fights that happened with his army just getting caught out. But once again, he scans, he sees the tanks are unsieged, he runs in and focuses 2 tanks down, pulls back. Beautiful maneuver. So just little moves like that. Notice he's cutting off the rally. So he gets another 2 tanks there that are rallying in. And remember, he can't hold his bases, so he's very good at running SCVs away. Constantly running SCVs away, going, hey, you don't have Stim Marines, you can't really chase them down that fast. Comes around with these Marauders, tries to protect that. Vikings land there as well as those Marauders. He gets mining back up on that base. This base, still no mining. His SCVs are running all around the map. He's desperately trying to hang on to these SCVs. They're attacking a command center over there, which is just insane. And he's trying to, like, whenever Innovation just A moves and his Hellbats go too far forward, TY will try and fight for a little bit. But this was such a bad position. And here's where TY got really clever. So TY says, okay, I can't get down the ramp. You've got too many units. I'm going to have to lift up and come around and come from behind or counterattack you. The problem he runs into is that Innovation actually realizes and scans it. Super big brain. What's really funny here, though, is that Innovation totally ruins himself by getting too over eager to hunt the medevacs. TY here is pretty dead in this game, but he's looking for a way to get out there and surround the army, to flank it, to counterattack. What's so funny about this is Innovation uses all of his air units to chase that. The medevacs rotate to the left, and he says, hey, you don't actually have any anti-air here. He drops just 1 Marine in there to kill 1 siege tank and just flies right over the army. And of course, the Vikings we saw try to land on Marauders, which was a really huge mistake. And TY now just says, hey, I'm going to go over here. And if you don't respond, maybe I drop in your production. Maybe I drop on that. But because Innovation is chasing him and he sees that and he just unloads, threatens a little bit. And he just pulls up to the north here. As Innovation closes in on him, he says, okay, that's fine. No worries. But what's he doing? Another drop. Another double drop loaded up. He's like, okay, let's send even more units out. And check this out. So, whoops. Control group wise, he's got those 2 medevacs on 2, this on 1. So he's already thinking of them as 2 separate squads, ready to be the slices of the bread and the sandwich that are going to crush Innovation's army. And this here was one of the sickest. So he cuts off the reinforced. Innovation's like, guys, go deal with that. Sends 3 tanks and a few Hellbats. And this is that moment where they're like, oh, go deal with the prisoner, you know? And he comes down, he's like, oh, that's a little, okay, it's a good spread of bio. But I'm going to get my tank sieged, or are you? You know, TY comes in from behind as well and just shuts that army down just like that. And in the meantime, guess what? Liberators it on his bases. He's still running SCVs away. But then it's like, okay, I still can't get rid of your army on my side of the map. So he tries to just drop on top of the siege tanks. He gets held there. He doesn't do much damage. But there was multiple avenues like that where he's like, look, whenever I pull your attention away enough, look at this. Check this one out. Look at this bust out the front. He's like, if I pull your attention away enough elsewhere, at some point I can go back to where you're not looking. So there's almost like a pattern that TY looks for. It's attack here. If defended, attack here. If defended, attack here. If you've dealt with all that, go back and fuck you up on the front. That the previously unengageable position has probably been ignored enough, or the units are being taken away, that it suddenly becomes this just amazing area. And Innovation gets back, tries to rejoin his army, and actually throws his whole army away doing it. And I mean, it was these fights over and over again, this constant splitting his army up into squads, running around the sides of the map, and just trying to find a way to deal with his opponent from a terrible situation. This is an amazing game. This was really well played by TY. We did see 1 mini budget air swap. If you guys want to see a more textbook swap into air, do check out the video below in the description between Kelazur and Hero Marine Kelazur. Even though it's an older game, the same fundamentals apply. Just shows an absolutely textbook swap into air control, where he deprioritizes air upgrades. He says, hey, I don't need that many air upgrades. Bio upgrades. Skips his engineering bay upgrades. Doesn't build a lot of barracks, and he just keeps his bio as sort of a backup squad. So whenever his Viking Liv jumps on top of the tanks and forces them to unsiege, then his bio will stim in and still be very effective. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.